Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Okay, so now we will continue okay on the principles of investment, but um, on this session, okay, I will teach you on return from property investment. Okay, so in this topic you're gonna learn on rental value. So here we will look on the definition of rental value and also how to calculate the rental value. Okay, so then outgoings. Okay, what is outgoings? So the type of outgoings. Alright, rate of return. Okay, so that's the three. Alright, so first we look on the rental value. Okay, this one is more towards rental value for the property. Okay, it is actually the amount an occupier willing to pay to the landlord to occupy the property for a limited period and subject to the obligation and condition as in the tenancy agreements. Okay, so this is actually the definition of rental value. It is the amount an occupier or the tenant, okay, willing to pay to the landlord or owner of the land or owner of the property, okay, in order to allow them to occupy the property. Okay, however, it is for a limited period of time and also subject to the um, conditions, okay, the obligations or conditions which is stated in the tenancy agreement. Okay, so that's a rental value. Okay, rental value may also be defined as the best rent which might be reasonably be expected. Okay, best rent, amount of rent that might be acceptance, okay, to be obtained for interest in the property at the date of valuation. Okay, so rental value also is based on the date of valuation. So it could be difference between year to year and it could be similar between year to year because it will depend on the market rental. If there's a changes in the market rentals, so means that it will the rental value will change. Okay. Okay, so this is actually the definition of rental value, okay, based on the um, Malaysian Valuation Standards, okay, MVS. It is a willing lessor or landlord, okay, and the rental value is referring to the reasonable period of time for renting, and the rental value is fixed during the period unless stated in the agreement. Okay, so that's the rental value. Okay, so no account will be taken of any rent that might be paid by a lessee with special interest. Okay, so for the rental value, that is, we could say that have a special interest or involve a special interest, or the rental value that involving a relationship transfer, for examples between um, father to son, for examples. Okay, so that particular rental value will not be taken, okay, as a rental value to be considered as a market rental. Alright, so how to determine the rent? Okay, so there are several methods, okay, to determine the rent. So the first one is comparison. And you also can use to determine the rent using by referring or looking at the proportion of the profit. And also, the rental value can be determined by looking at the costs. And the last one is the capitalizations. Okay, by referring to the market value, then you decapitalize it to derive the rental value. Okay, so first we look on the first method, okay, to determine the rental value, which is the comparison method. Okay, the comparison methods, okay, can be used to determine the value of property, whether it is a vacant property or owner-occupied property. The rent can be determined by comparing the rent with a similar type of property within the same locality. So in order to determine the rental value for property A, okay, so you can refer to the rental value of property B, C, and D, which is in the same locality. Okay, same types of properties and in the same locality. Okay, however, adjustment need to be done, okay, for each type, floor levels, and maintenance levels. If there is any differentiation, okay, between the property that you want to value on the rental value, okay, with the market rentals, okay, at the surrounding, so you need to do an adjustment. Okay, the adjustment actually is to make the property that you want to value its rentals will become similar to the other property that is in the market. Okay, so the next approach or method that commonly been applied to determine the rental value, is by looking at the profit. Okay, it is a proportionate of profit. Okay, for examples, for special properties with a profit-oriented business, the rent will be determined based on the profit made from the business activities carried out. Okay. For examples, a retail space in well-known shopping center is based on the agreed percentage of profit made between the landlord and tenant. For example, if you look on the shopping malls, okay, it's normally applied for the shopping malls, okay. So in order, especially for the we could say that as an anchor tenant, okay, or the tenants that occupies, okay, the quite numbers, okay, of the space for the malls, okay. So normally, okay, the rental paid is determined by looking at the profits, okay, and this particular agreements, okay, actually will be stated in the tenancy agreements. Okay, how much that, or how many percent that the from the profit that will be allocated for the tenant for the rental payments. Okay. All right. Next method is relating cost with rent. Okay. So this one is by looking at the costs, okay, when you adding the land value and building cost. I'm referring to that particular cost, okay, cost of land, and also plus with the cost of buildings. So we also can determine the rental value. Okay, this is normally been applied for the property that is less similarity in the market. Okay, so you want to use the comparison method that you want to compare with the rental at the surrounding, it is very difficult because of the building itself is different in terms of designs, functions, and whatsoever. So due to this specialty, okay, because it is different compared to the market, so you need to determine the rental by looking at the cost. Okay, when we talk about cost, it will involve the cost of land and also the cost of the buildings itself. All right. So the rent is determined by relating the rent with the cost incurred for the property. Okay, so for the last one is decapitalization. Okay, so once the property value is known, okay, the rent is known by decapitalizing the capital value. Okay, so if you know the value of the property, so you can decapitalize it, okay, in order to determine the rental value. Okay, so this can be done by multiplying the rates of return with the capital value of the property to obtain the rent. So this one is actually a very surface explanations on the methods, okay, because of the calculation itself will be quite difficult, okay, and maybe you need to spend, okay, for each of the methods, okay, for quite some times, okay, and this particular approach, okay, you will be learned, okay, on the coming semester. So this is just the brief explanation on the methods that you can use in order to determine the rental value. Okay, so the next things, okay, that really related to the rental value is outgoings. Okay, so what is outgoings? Okay, so outgoings actually is annual expenses, okay, that required to maintain the property in a good state of repair and ensure the rental value remains stable. Okay, so outgoings, so when we talk about outgoings, it is actually the expenses, okay, expenses to manage and maintain, okay, the property. So when we talk about outgoings, it is the expenses for the property. All right. So amount, okay, so outgoings also known as the amount to be deducted from rent to give the amount of the true return as net income per annum. All right. So in order to know the net income, okay, for the property, okay, normally the rental received, you need to deduct with the outgoings, okay, because of there are several types of rental, okay, that link or very affected, okay, to the types of outgoings. Okay, so outgoings, also known as a cost which are incidental, Okay, so this is an incidental cost, okay, to the occupation of the property. So if you own or you occupy the property, so you need to bear with the outgoings. Okay, so that's why we call it as incidental cost. Alright, so this is the items of outgoings. Okay, so we have repairs and maintenance. Okay, so we recap back. Outgoings is the expenses. Okay, expenses to well manage and maintains the property to make sure that property in a good state of conditions, and also to ensure that the rental value will be in a good state. Alright, so the first one, okay, we have a repair and maintenance. Okay, so this is the first outgoings, repairs and maintenance. Okay, and for your information, this is the highest amount of spending, okay, for the property expenses. Okay, so a lot of expenses, okay, we focus for the repairs and maintenance, especially for the buildings that already long time been operated. Okay, so next one is insurance. Alright, so normally insurance we took, okay, to cover, okay, the property from fire, okay, and several other types of insurance that related to property. Alright, so next one is management. Okay, so management is more towards the management costs or management expenses in order to maintain and manage that property. Okay, so next one is taxes. Okay, taxes, only the taxes that related to property. Okay, we call it as part of outgoings. Okay, taxes that not related to property, it is not the outgoings. So, and the last one, we have a service charge and sinking fund. All right. Okay, so first we look on the repairs and maintenance. So what is actually covered by repairs and maintenance of outgoings? Okay, so repairs maintenance actually the amount or the cost that need to be paid or spent to do a repair and maintenance for the property. Okay, so the highest amount of outgoing actually is the repairs and maintenance, which normally they spend about 10% of the gross rent. Okay, so 10% for the repairs and maintenance. Okay, so the expenditure is important, okay, and it actually is very important to ensure the property is in a good state of conditions, and also indirectly to optimize the value of the property and also the rental value. So the maintenance cost includes internal and external repairs of the property. So internal means that any things, any damages, okay, inside of the properties, okay, we call it as internal repairs. Okay, so any repairs, okay, that outside of the property or external of the property, we call it as external repairs. So the maintenance cost, it will involve the combination of internal and external repairs. Okay, the amounts that need to be paid, okay, for the repairs and maintenance actually it depends on the age and construction of the buildings, and it can be accessed from the actual payment records based on the planned maintenance program. So the repairs and maintenance, okay, normally it depending to the age of the building itself. So there is less maintenance problems or repairs for a new construction buildings, but for the buildings that is quite old, so it will face the a lot of maintenance and repairs, because of the depreciation, for the buildings itself, and also for the features and fittings inside the buildings. So the maintenance and repairs cost also is depending to the design of the building itself. So if the design is quite sophisticated, what you can see, the designs nowadays, with the glasses, with the glasses wall, we call it as glass wall, all right. So it's actually causing a lot of maintenance, especially after several times you need to clean up the glass itself, and sometimes the design of the building itself unable, the maintenance team to clean up the outside of the windows of the glass, using the gondolas. So sometimes they need to hire a Spider-Man, in order to clean up the external parts of the glass wall. All right, so that one is very costing. So that is a very important, to look on the maintenance costs, before designing a buildings. So next one is insurance. It is needed as a protection against calamities like fire or any natural disasters. One of the important type of insurance is fire insurance. Because of, as we know that property is very um, is very exposed. It's very exposed to the fire. Because of it involve the materials that maybe it's easily to be explode or whatsoever, and maybe it caused from the lightings, maybe because of the fittings inside of the buildings or wirings problems, and it will cause fire. So due to that, it is very essential, for the buildings to be insured with the fire insurance. So the amount of the insurance is based on the cost of the buildings. So the amount that you need to pay for the insurance, normally it based on the value of the buildings. Sometimes for the property that is located in the flood area, some of the owner of the building also insured the building with the flood cover insurance. Because of not most of the insurance will cover the natural disasters problems. So normally the owner of the buildings need to identify what is the problems that commonly occurs at the surrounding of their buildings, of their properties, and they need to identify which insurance that they need to insure for the buildings in order to avoid any problems in the future. For the fire insurance, so Once the fire insurance is bought, okay, from the insurance company, so an annual premiums need to be paid, okay, and it is depends on the sum insured, okay. It's not necessarily you need to insure the whole of the sums, okay. Maybe it's part of, or maybe it depends on the amounts that you um, preferred, okay, based on the conditions of the building itself. Alright, so next one is management costs. Okay, this is the cost to manage the property. It involves operation costs and also working expenses costs. Okay, the management costs need to be deducted refers to the property owner's supervising costs, equivalent to the fee that would be due to the management agent. Okay, and it will cover for rent collections, inspections the property, okay, and also staffing and administration costs. So when we talk about management costs to in outgoings expenses, it is actually the cost that you required, okay, to manage the buildings. All right, so maybe this is the cost to pay for the property management companies. Okay, if you outsource the management of the building, so you need to bear with this cost, with the management cost, the cost that you need to pay for to the property management companies in order for them, okay, to do their job, okay, their works, okay, that is to well manage the buildings, okay. It includes the rent collections, okay, inspection of the property, and also the cost for the administrations, and also staffing, okay. So that's the things for management costs. All right, so next one is taxes. Okay, for each property, there will be taxes that need to be paid every year, okay, which includes quit rents, rating assessment, and any other taxes, property taxes. Okay, so quit rent and assessments is form of the land taxes, okay, collected by a government and local authority. So quit rent actually is a cukai tanah. Okay, so this one, this quit rent that you need to pay every year, okay, to the land office. Okay, and another one is assessment or rate assessment. That's all cukai pintu. Okay, this one will be collected by the local authority, okay, at your area. So this one also need to be paid, okay, for each of the property that is under the local authority supervision area. Okay, so it is imposed, okay, on owners of all land ownerships, okay. Quit rents and assessment, okay, is imposed to the owners, okay, for all land ownerships, okay. However, for the assessment, okay, cukai pintu, okay, so it just will be paid by the owner under the local authority supervisions or controls area. Okay, so the amount is varies, okay, from state to state, and also varies according to type and locality. Okay, so and also it depends on the type of the property itself, type of the land. Okay, so it is varies. It is difference, okay, between one state to another states, and between one type of land or property to another type. So the amount is different. Okay, so the last one is service charge and sinking fund. Okay, so this is the contribution of service charge and sinking fund. Okay, normally it is applicable to strata property. So when we talk about service charge, okay, and also sinking funds, it also This is the things that will be paid for strata property. Okay. This is the payment actually for service charge is the payment for the service or facilities that they provide in the buildings. Okay, to manage and maintain that particular facility, so you need to pay their service charge. For example, of the facilities like a gym, okay, um, what else? Maybe a surau or whatever a service or facilities that they provide in the buildings. Alright. Okay. So it will varies, okay, to the standard of common facilities, okay, service, density and category. So it will be different, okay. For examples, for the strata property, we have condominiums, we have apartments, we have flats. So the amounts of the charge or the service charge amount will be different, okay, between this type of property, okay, between the density also, and also the numbers of facilities that they provide. All right, so it will be different. Okay, for examples, okay, for condominium, the service charge is in the range of 15 to 60 cent per square feet. Okay, whereas for the sinking fund is 3 cent to 10 cent per square feet. This is just the examples, okay, for you to look on the difference between service charge and sinking fund. Sinking fund is more toward the contingencies fund for the management, okay, in order for them to face the uncertainty problems that's happened, okay. All right, so this is the function of sinking fund. Okay. Okay, so this is the examples of the amount of service charge and sinking fund that you paid. It is actually used, okay, by the maintenance team, okay, to maintain and cleaning of the common areas such as lift, okay, playground, swimming pools, and other facilities that are shared by the occupants of the strata property. Because of yeah, you really love to have a very good lift, okay, you really love to swim at the a very nice pool, clean pools, and you also enjoy to have the best and good facilities in your buildings, okay. So if that's so, this is the charge that you need to pay, okay. This charge is to maintain all of this sharing, okay, or commons area, okay, because nobody um, will be a volunteer, okay, to take care of this sharing or common area, okay. Nobody. So the management team will be responsible to look into this, and this service charge is the amount that they need in order to maintain all of the facilities. Okay, so next we move to the determination of rent received or rent paid. Okay, so rent received from one tenant to another tenant, it could be different. Okay, because we have a different forms of or different types of lease agreement. Okay, we have normally we practice several terms of lease agreement, okay, and that's why if you can see, even though the same property, it will give a different rental value or rental paid. It's not rental value, it's a rental paid, okay. Rental value, it could be similar, but the rental paid by the tenant, it could be different. It's based on the terms of lease agreement that stated in the tenancy agreement. The responsibility for payments of outgoing should be a condition contained in the tenancy agreement. So it is we could say that it is compulsory. Okay, in the tenancy agreements should be stated. Okay, the outgoings payment, the outgoings charge. Okay, whether it will be paid by the tenant or it will be paid by the landlord, or maybe as part of that will be paid by the owner or landlords and part of that will be paid by the tenant. It depends. All right, and if you want to know the types of the terms, okay, at least term, in you can refer to the tenancy agreement. So it is stated inside that. So when the property is let, okay, the terms of the lease will determine whether the landlord or tenant is liable for a particular expenses. Okay. Okay, in the majority of cases, landlords will seek to pass the cost of maintaining the property to the tenant via full repairing in an insurance lease or via net rental. Okay, because of so for these two types of the uh, lease term, okay, all of the expenses for the outgoings will be bear or will be paid by the tenants. So of course, if you become a landlord, okay, of course you want to pass over all of the expenses to the tenant. Okay, so you will get a net rental. No need to think how to pay it or when to pay it, how much to pay for the outgoings, for the expenses. All right. Okay. So this is the commons. The commons favor of the landlords. Okay. So now we look on the type of rental lease. Okay. Okay. So first we have gross rent. Gross rent is sewa kasar. Okay. So for gross rent, so owner responsible to pay all of the outgoings. Alright. So all of the expenses towards property that including repairs and maintenance, insurance, management, service charge for the strata buildings, and also taxes. Okay, all of this will be paid by the owner. So gross will be paid by the owner. This is because owner receive a gross rent. Normally, the gross rent is much more higher compared to the net rental received to the landlord. All right. So tenant paid nothing. So tenant will not pay any outgoings. Okay. So normally when we talk about gross rent, okay, the percentage we normally um, identify that we normally will we conclude that as a in the form of percentage as between 20 to 25%. Okay, so this is the common practice of the gross rent outgoings between 20 to 25% of gross rent. All right, so next type is net rental. Okay, so it is opposed to the gross rent. Okay, net rental is sewa bersih. All right, so landlord receive net rental. Landlord receive sewa bersih. So dia tak payah bayar apa-apa lah. Okay, so for this, owner will not pay any outgoings. Alright, because of who will pay the outgoings? So it is a tenant. Tenant responsible to pay for all of the outgoings. Alright. So when we look about net rental, so means that there is 0% of outgoings that need to be paid by the owner. Alright. So that's the difference between gross rent and net rents. Okay. Okay, so next type, okay, we have full repairing and insurance lease, FRI. Okay, so here, okay, tenant responsible to pay all repairs and insurance. Okay, so others will be paid by the owner. Okay, some of the theory mention that full repairing and insurance lease, the FRIs, actually is a net rental. So it depends. Okay, so you can also assume that okay, owner need to pay about 5% of the outgoings for FRI, but you also can assume that as a 0% because of there's a theory mentioning that FRI also known as net rental. So it depends. Alright, so next one is IRI, internal repairs and insurance lease. Okay, so here, tenants responsible to pay internal repairs and insurance. Okay, so if you still remember, okay, on the maintenance part, repairs and maintenance, okay, so there are two repairings that covers under repairs and maintenance, which is internal repairs, that is internally, okay, any damages, any repairs in the buildings, okay, and external repairs, that is the any damages or repairs, okay, for the external part of the buildings. So for IRI, internal repairs and insurance lease, okay, because it is stated internal repairs, okay, so means that tenant will pay for the internal repairs and insurance. So for the external repairs, okay, for the management, for the taxes, for the service charge if involving a strata building, so it will be paid by the owner. Okay, so here we could say that for IRI type of rental lease, owner need to pay 10% of outgoings. Okay, so for the last one is IRO, internal repairs only. So here, tenants, okay, responsible to pay for internal repairs only. Okay, so then the owner need to pay all others. Okay, which is other than internal repair. So it will cover about okay, the cost for internal and external repairs, insurance, management, taxes, okay, and also service charge, okay, for the strata buildings, right? So this we could say that owner, okay, will be paid about 15% of outgoings. So the percentage at the last columns actually mentions about the amount of the outgoings that need to be bear by the owner. Okay, so we recap back. For gross rent means that owner need to pay about 20 to 25% of the outgoings. Net rent, okay, because of owner receive a net rental, okay, sewa bersih, so 0%, okay, for the outgoings. So FRI between 0 to 5% because of why? Because of some theories mention that FRI is similar to net rent, so that's why it is 0%. And some theories mention that it is 5% because it not covering others, okay, other than full repairs and insurance. So the balance will be paid by the owner. So for IRI, okay, so owner need to pay 10% outgoings. And the last one, IRO, owner need to pay about 15% of outgoings. Okay, so this is actually the simple examples to calculate the net and receivables. So here is the situations, okay, where you need to calculate the annual net income receivable by the landlord. Okay, if the gross rental is 12,500 per month and the annual outgoings need to be paid at the severals, okay. Alright, so if you um, get this situation, okay, because you need to remember that outgoings, okay, is the annual expenses, okay. So for that, okay, for because of in this situation, okay, it give you 12,500 per month. Okay, the income, okay, actually is 12,000, or the gross rental is 12,500 per month. Okay, then you need to time with 12 months in order to get the amount of gross rental received per annum or yearly. All right. When we talk about, when I did mention per annum, so it means that per year. Okay, so in this situation, because it's actually given you 12,500 per month, so you need to times with 12 months, okay, to get per year or per annum. Alright, so here okay, it stated the annual outgoings involve repairs 10,000 per annum, okay, insurance 3,000 per annum, and management 15,000 per annum. Okay, so actually to calculate the net rental, okay, actually you need to deduct the gross rental with the amount of outgoings. Alright. Okay, so for this situation, gross rental given is 12,500 per month. So you need to time with 12. And annual outgoings is given, okay, 10,000 for repairs, insurance 3,000, and management about 15,000. So here is the way how you need to calculate in order to get a net incomes. Okay. Because of a rental receipt, we call it as income. Okay, so the income for the owner. Okay, so the rental receipt is the income for the owner. Okay, so this is how you need to do the calculations. Okay, so first, as mentioned before, you need to time with 12 months. Okay, the gross rent. So here we 12,500 times 12 months, so you get 150,000, right? So then in order to get the net rental, so what is the things that you need to do is the gross rental you need to less or deduct with the outgoings, alright. So outgoings given is repairs 10,000 per annum, insurance 3,000 per annum, and management 15,000. So we total up all of these outgoings. So here the total is 28,000. So the next step that you need to do is deducting or less, okay, or minus. Alright, so 150,000 of gross rent you less with the outgoings. Alright, 150,000 less 28,000. How to get this 28,000 is a total up from the 10,000 plus 3,000 plus 15,000 of outgoings. So it will equal 122,000. So this is the net rental. Alright, so it's very easy to determine the net rental. Okay, just you need to remember that the gross rent less outgoings. The gross rent must be per annum. And also the outgoings also must be per annums. Okay, if the outgoings given 10,000, okay, per month, for example, so that particular outgoings you need to time with 12 months. Okay, it must be in per annum basis. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is the next things that we need to learn, okay, under this topic, which is property yields, or also called as a rate of return. Okay. Property yield. Yield is kadar pulangan lah. Okay, rate of return is kadar pulangan. Alright. So what is property yields? Okay, it is actually, okay, some define the property yields or rate of returns as the income from an investment. Okay, so income from an investment as proportion of the investment current market value. So income received compared with the current market value. So that's a property yields or rate of return. Okay. So let's say the income of property is normally we get from the rental, kan? Alright, so means that it is the rental received. Then you divide with the current market value. Alright, so that's a property yield. Okay, so some say that it is a percentage of return as compared to capital outlay. Alright, so returns means that an income. Okay, what you get, what you receive, that's a returns. Alright, compared to capital outlay. So when we talk about capital outlay, it is actually a capitals. Okay, modal yang dikeluarkan. Alright, so return what you receive compared to capital. Okay, so that's a yield. Alright, so another definition of yield is it is the levels of earning of the investment. Okay, so yield shows you levels of earning of the investments, and it is expressed as rate of return. Okay, that's a yield. Okay, it is levels of earning for the investment. Okay. Okay, so actually we have several types of yield. We have initial yield, we have reversionary yields, and all risk yield. Alright. Okay, so initial yield basically is a relationship between current annual net income with the current market value. Okay, so that's initial yield. So no need to focus on these things, initial yield or whatsoever, but just need to remember that when we talk about yield, it is actually relationship between incomes and the market value, as mentioned in the first point. Okay. Okay. So the annual rental income can be expressed as a percentage return of the capital value of the property. Okay, so normally yields, okay, it is in the form of percentage. That's why these points mentioning that it is rental income that we express in the form of percentage, whereby the rental income itself we calculated compared with the capital value. Okay, income bahagi capital value. Okay, income divide with the capital value. So times with 100 lah in order to get percentage form. So it is actually a percentage form of rental income compared to capital value. Okay, so this percentage of return is called yield. Alright. Okay, so actually it is repeating the same things. Okay, to make it you more clear on what is yield or rate of return. Okay, the yield may reflect all the important features of the property, in which case it is called all risk yield. So this is actually the common yield that we're going to use in the property, which is all risk yield. Where we talk about all risk yield, it is actually a yield that have been taken all of the have been taken into consideration all of the factors, okay, and also risk. All right, so we call it as all risk yields. Okay, so next, okay, I will show you the examples how to calculate yields or rate of returns. Okay, so let's look on this situation. If an investment generates a net rental of 20,000 per annum, okay, and has a market value of 200,000, so what the yield? Okay, so the yield, okay, so before that we highlight first, okay, what is the importance information here? Okay, here, okay, you can see the net rental, okay, and it is 200,000 per annum. So if the situation or the question give you the rental in the form of per annum basis, so you no need to time with 12 months anymore because it is already given to per annum, okay, yearly. However, if the questions give you, all right, let's say a net rental of 20,000 per month, all right, so you need to time with 12 months, okay, because of the income or the rental received should be in the yearly basis or per annum basis. All right. Okay, so here the next information is market value. Okay, market value RM 200,000. Okay, so the rental is 20,000 per annum, and the market value. Market value actually it is a price. Okay, let's say this is the rental. Okay, rental for the double story terrace house, for example. So the rentals is 20,000 per annum. So it means that it could be per month, it could be 20,000 divided with 12. 20,000 divided with 12 months. Okay, so means that this property hey, this property is actually rent out at 1,600 something, okay, per month. So it's total up for per annum about 20,000. Okay, so this house, okay, actually been let for 20,000 per annum, and the market value, okay, of the surrounding property which is similar to this house is the value is 200,000. So in order for you to calculate the yields, okay, so if you still remember the formula that I'll tell you before, it is income divided with the market value. So here our income in the forms of rental, and you need to remember that the income or the rental must be net. Okay, the rental must be net. Okay, what if the question give you gross rental? Okay, so what you need to do? How to do? Okay, if the question give you gross rental, if the question give you gross rental, okay, so in order to make it net, okay, in order to get a net rental, so the things that you need to do is you need to deduct with the outgoings. Okay, back to what have we learned before. Okay, so you need to less first with the outgoings to get the net rental. However, for this question, it did mention that it is a net rental per annum, so means that no need to times with 12, no need to less with the outgoing because it is already net rental. Alright, so net rental per annum or income, alright, divide with the market value. Alright. Okay, so this net rental divide with the market value. So the net rental is 20,000. So the market value is 200,000. 200,000 times with 100 in order to get a percentage form of the results, okay, which is the yield. Alright, so 20,000, okay, times 100 or divide with 200,000, or 20,000 divide with 200,000 times with 100. So whichever you can do, okay, which one is first, then because it is NOR restrictions, okay. Alright, so you can do whatever way you want, okay. Alright, so the result will be that you will get is 10%. So this 10% actually is a yield. Alright, so yield of that property with the rental of 20,000 per annum, with the surrounding market value is 200,000. So this is the yield for your property. 10% is quite high actually. Right. Okay, so next, okay, let's look on this example. Alright, question 1. Again, we have a question 2. So the 2 questions here. So let's first we look at the question 1. Ali invest in the investment that generates a net rental. Okay, a net rental. Alright, so no need to less with the outgoings of 20,000 per annum and the market value of the property at the surrounding, okay, at 200,000. Calculate the yield received by him. Okay, so the formula, income less capital value or market value. So the income should be net rental per annum. Okay, so no need to deduct with the outgoings. Alright, so time 100, so it is 10%. Okay, it's actually similar to what's the previous example. Okay, so now let's look on the question 2. Alright, Alicia invests in the investment that generates a net rental of 2,300 per month. Alright, so now is net rental, so no need to less with the outgoings. However, here the rental is per month, 2,300 per month. So what you need to do now is time with 12 months in order to get it per annum. And the market value of the property at the surrounding is at 700,000. So calculate the yield that will be received by Alicia, is her lah. Alright, so by her. Alright, so this one, 2,300 per month, the rental or the income received, you need to time with 12 months. Okay, so 2,300 times 12, so it is equal to 27,600. Okay, that particular rental, 27,600. So this one is per annum. Okay, net. Okay, divide with 700,000 and time with 100. So you will get 3.94%. So this is the yield for Alicia punya property. Alright, so that's very simple. How to calculate, we have learned already on how to calculate the net rental, and now we have learned already how to calculate the yield or rate of return. Okay, so that's very easy. Okay, so this is the only 2 things, okay, that you need to remember, because this is actually the basic things for a further calculation, okay, that you're gonna learn probably this semester and coming semester. Alright, okay, so thank you very much. Okay, that's all that we learned for these sessions. So hopefully that you can understand it well, all of the information given. Okay, alright, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.